Hey guys, how you doing out there? Hope you guys are doing well. So we got some more King of the Hill news regarding the upcoming revival. We got our first actual teaser slash trailer for the upcoming series, which is coming out in August. We actually got a release date. It's coming out August 2nd for Hulu, which means I'm gonna have to get me a Hulu subscription to watch this, which is fantastic. But besides the point. So we got our first official look, and I have to say, in this first teaser, there is a lot that is in that. There's a lot of information that came out on top of this teaser. So Bobby is in his 20s. We got our first look of what Bobby officially looks like in his 20s. We got to look at all the other characters. We got to see Khan and Min. We got to see Connie. We got to see I forgot his I don't know why his name always escapes me. Dale's son. I don't know why I always forget his name for some reason. We got to see him. We got to see Bobby moving. And also, what was surprising to me, and what I didn't notice until I saw the teaser, I had no idea that Hank and Peggy were actually going to leave Arlen. I had no idea that that was going to happen. I did not know that until I saw the teaser. And at first, when I first saw it, I thought that it was just Bobby that was leaving, but it turns out that it's actually Peggy and Hank left. And that was actually kind of surprising because I didn't expect for Hank or Peggy to leave. I thought that, it'd be Bobby moving out for college and that was it. But yeah, apparently the whole family moved out. And there's a new neighbor that lives where Hank and them used to live at. And also, Dale is running for office, which, in a way, I can see that. That does make sense too. Like, I can see that. And so, some more information that came out, some more of the synopsis for the series. So, apparently, the reason that Hank and Peggy left is that they were working in Saudi Arabia so that they can get, like, pretty much an early retirement. Which I don't know. That's an interesting plot line. I don't know. I just I don't know if I could see Hank up and going to Saudi Arabia of all places. Like I don't know. That's kind of strange to me. That kind of threw me off. I wouldn't have expected for Hank especially to just up and go to Saudi Arabia. Like I don't know. That just doesn't seem like something Hank would do. I could see Peggy kind of doing that, but I don't know. I don't really see Hank being really for it. I could see him being really against it. I mean, especially considering that he's loyal to a fault to Buck Strickland and Strickland Propane. I mean, that's another thing. To my knowledge, I don't know if Buck Strickland's actually going to be in the revival. I don't even know. I mean, considering it seems like Hank left Buck Strickland, yeah, and Strickland Propane, it might be a good chance that either that company doesn't exist anymore, or went under, or Buck died, which would not be surprising considering the lifestyle he lived. So that'll be interesting. I'm really curious to see how they're going to address that. Because that's a twist to this story that I was not expecting. I did not expect for A, Hank and Peggy to leave Arlen, and then B, for them to go to Saudi Arabia. That is wild. That is actually something out of left field as far as I'm concerned. I would have never thought that. But I'm curious about the new neighbor because there's a new person that's going to be, or was, or is living where Hank and Peg and him used to live. And it seems like he's friends with the rest of the group, with Bill and them. So I'm kind of curious to see what the story is with the new guy, what his role is going to be, and how he kind of integrates with the whole cast of characters. I also liked how in the montage it was pretty much like a reflection of reality, where like the real world, where it kind of is like a time lapse where it goes from pretty much all the years since the show was canceled until now, and it actually addresses the COVID era. So it is canon that COVID-19 did happen in the King of the Hill universe, which is interesting. Dale of all people would have a field day with COVID and especially all the conspiracy theories that were surrounding that. So that would be right up Dale's alley. And Yeah, there's a few other things in this trailer that were interesting that were just kind of in passing, with all the characters kind of coming and going, aging. But I will say that after seeing this teaser, I'm very excited. I'm really interested. And I don't want to jinx it, and I know that we live in an era where reboots and remakes and sequels and reimaginings of old IPs can go pretty bad. But I think that this looks like it's on the right path. I mean, I've seen very few things that have given me red flags. I mean, there's a few things here or there that I'm kind of concerned about. I'm very perplexed about the whole Saudi Arabia plot line. I mean, that might be just me, but I think that's kind of something that's out there that I would never thought. I also would have never assumed that or even thought that Hank would give up his house to go overseas of all places. That's a little bit strange. But I mean, also there might be a lot of context because also the synopsis says that the reason that they did that was because of pretty much like wanting to get like an early nest egg retirement. So it could have been like a act of desperation, to help his family long term, which that is in character for Hank to do what he thinks is in his family's best interest. So that could be the reason why. But and also again, like we'll have to see what the show kind of explains for that because I'm sure there's a lot of missing context that we really can't get in this little brief little teaser and little synopsis. But other than that, like I really think that this looks like a pretty solid not even a reimagining. It seems like a faithful continuation of a series, and it seems like this is being done in a very tasteful, very genuine way. Like I don't feel like this is being done as a cash grab or just for nostalgia baiting or just milking an IP that hasn't been used for about a century, about a decade. I feel like this is something that is a full on passion project, one to continue this legacy series, and I'm interested. I'm fully on board. I mean, I haven't had Hulu for 3 or 4 years now, but I'm interested. I this show has gotten me so interested that I am willing to resubscribe to Hulu just to watch the show because I'm really wanting to see how this turns out, especially because I've been a lifelong King of the Hill fan, and I have felt that King of the Hill got a pretty bitter deal. I feel like it was abruptly canceled. I mean, I think anyone who's been a fan of King of the Hill would agree with that the show did not end on a final term. Like it did not have like a final finale. It just kind of ended abruptly with no real conclusion to it. So this is kind of a way to give like an actual closure to the story. So I'm really interested to see how this ends up wrapping up the story of all the characters we've come to know over the last 20, 30 years of King of Hill being around. But also, regarding this series, we also got some voiceover information. So Toby Huss has taken over for for voicing Dale from Johnny Hardwick, who passed away back in 2023, and he's going to be taking over, or did take over from him to record the rest of the series. And I'm curious to see how that goes because for me, from the original series, Dale was one of my favorite characters. And I feel like, especially Dale is the character in our day and age that would thrive the most. I mean, out of Hank, out of Boomhauer, out of Bill, he's the one that, I mean, it almost seems like he's kind of been like perfectly fit into our society. Like, Dale was great from when the show first came out in the 90s and early 2000s, early 2010s, but I mean, he fits beyond perfectly in our modern day, especially in an era of conspiracy theorists and everyone having their own individual truths about things and distrustful of everything. Dale fits in perfectly with that. And I said this in my other King of the Hill video, but I really think, especially since now that we have confirmation that he has a new voice actor, because for a minute there wasn't really an answer as to how they were going to go forward with Dale. If they were just going to have him not appear in future episodes, or if they were going to do some variation of AI, or they're just going to use the audio that they had for Johnny Hardwick and just kind of work around that, kind of like a Princess Leia situation from the Star Wars movies. But since they actually have a new actor, I think it would be cool, especially as like a little spinny, like a spin-off or a miniseries, to have like a Dale Gribble show, like a radio show with Dale Gribble, which is like, 20, 30 minutes of just him rambling off conspiracy theories, talking about social issues, talking about, the pandemic, talking about all the things that have happened in the last decade plus, and just going on, random rants. Like I think that would be a really good series. I think people would be really engaged. I mean, because Dale's just such a fascinating character. He's just such an interesting character that no matter what he's doing or saying, you're just interested. Like you're just engrossed in it. And I mean, realistically, I doubt they're going to do that, but I think it would be something cool. I mean, especially since now that he has a voice actor that we know is going to continue doing the role after Hardwick's passing. And so I'm curious. I'm very interested to see how all this is going to work because from what I've seen, it looks like this is one of the more promising, not even reboots, but like faithful continuations of a series that's been pretty much shelved for 10 years, 10 plus years actually, which is crazy to think that King of the Hill's been gone, not on air for that long now. But I'm excited because also it's been off the air so long now, and enough time has passed that there is somewhat of a new generation. I mean, King of the Hill hasn't been off the air like 20, 30 years, but it's been off the air long enough and had a circulation. I mean, especially nowadays. I mean, there's just so many shows and movies and stuff to watch that like the attention span of everybody is just completely shot now. So also, this is a way for people who either weren't around when King of the Hill first came out, or wasn't really interested, or kind of was indifferent to it, to actually kind of be exposed to it and have a bigger audience to King of the Hill, which I'm all for. But yeah, I'm interested. I'm very excited, and I think after looking at this trailer, I think that this is going to be a pretty promising series. I'm excited, and I look forward to August and also having a Hulu subscription for the duration of this show, only to watch this and to cancel it. But with that said, I'm going to end this here, and until next time, you guys take it easy, and I'll see you later.